Alright, welcome home to Duty's Daggers, and we're doing a cut test with the Rosecraft Blades Clinch River Swayback. This is a pretty rad design pattern. I've never seen a swayback like this, one with a large sharpening choil slash choke up spot. That's kind of what drew me to it in the first place, and after getting it, it's bigger than I thought it was going to be. That's not a bad thing. Very thin behind the edge, very sharp. Factory edge is really nice. And let's start out with some cardboard here. Absolutely destroying it. I'm in the choked up spot. This is preferable for cutting through cardboard because if you're choked back, the cardboard's going to want to kind of get snagged in that big old choil area. So if your finger's up there, the cardboard kind of just glides right along your finger if it gets down there, and keeps it out of the choil and keeps you cutting nice and cleanly. And boy, is it cutting cleanly. Holy crap, man. Really sweet. It's thin blade stock. It's, like I said, super thin behind the edge. As are all these Clinch River, as are all these Rosecraft blades, but this one seems a little thinner than the others even. Real thin. D2 blade steel, and in past experience with Rosecraft blades, their D2 seems to be done very well. Let's do some utility cutting. This knife's specialty. It's going to be a utility cutting monster. It's actually got a little bit of a recurve, kind of a hawkbill curve down at the tip there. Just slightly, but enough to where, it's just going to tear into things. Minimal pressure needed to get through it. It's just, it wants to cut through this cardboard. And this is the triple thickness stuff too, by the way, which usually we don't do for utility cutting, but since this is so thin, it's handling it no problem. Do some longer ones here. Really nice. The swayback handle, the way the handle is on a swayback is, lends itself to this kind of cutting because it sweeps up and kind of sits right in the palm of your hand. Kind of gives you a real nice spot to brace up against. Just feels good. Some big curves. Cut through it without any issue, not even leaving behind any section of the cardboard uncut. Just destruction, man. Really sweet. If you do a lot of utility cutting, draw cutting, breaking down of cardboard, this will be a good one. Now, ergonomically, it's a little funky if you're not in a pinch grip, doing utility cutting. If you're gripping it regular like you would for cutting down cardboard, it's fine, but I would say, if I was gonna break down 20 boxes or something, I would probably grab something a little more comfortable. Cutting the leather glove up here, and it's doing really nice. I'm kind of hanging my knuckles off the edge of this board so that I can use more of the edge. But since we don't have any belly on this blade, this kind of cutting is a little more difficult since you can't really rock back on the edge. You're kind of stuck using the first, 1/4 inch tip of the edge there. But really made short work of the leather there. A little surprised on that one. Cecil rope. Yeah, not the best blade shapes for this kind of thing, but it's fine. Not an issue at all getting through the Cecil rope. None whatsoever. What's next? We're not going to try cutting paper until the very end. And a little bit of a spoiler alert. You're going to be surprised. How about some thick wall rubber tubing? Again, not the best blade shape for this kind of thing, but it'll get the job done. It's kind of easier to see what I'm talking about in this one. I'm kind of just dragging that first 1/4 inch of blade through the whole thing because, you know, if I wanted to get down further, my knuckles would hit the surface and you just can't. So you're kind of dragging the tip through the rubber. But not a problem. It'll do. This knife's specialty, as with all Wardcliffs, is utility cutting, you know, style draw cuts, and slicing, cardboard, paper, whatever. Let's try this 2-inch heavy-duty strap. I don't think we have enough blade length to get all the way through. Yeah, 3/4 of the way. Not too bad. Trying choked back now. About the same, maybe a little less even. And our last one, the third one here. About the same as the first. So it's cutting through that real easy, but we just don't have the length to get all the way through. And that's about it. Let's cut. Let's see if it'll still cut paper. Oh baby, look at that! Woo! It's not cutting as cleanly. It's sometimes giving a little rip toward the end. So it's definitely had an effect. Our cutting has had an effect on the edge for sure. But man, you know, I've tested D2 that will absolutely not be cutting paper at that point. That's sweet. Let's strap it up really quick. I almost wish it didn't have that slight hook at the end, the little hawk bill, because it would be easier to strap. It's still pretty easy, but you feel it when you're running it across the strap, if you know what I mean. You know, it's such a minor curve that it might as well just not be there. And look at that, real clean cuts. Strapped back very easily and quickly. Yeah. This D2 is great, man. Really, really great. I'm attempting to show you that little hawkbill section of the edge, but it's kind of hard to tell. You can see daylight through there, but I was having trouble showing it to the camera in the right direction. So, but just trust me on it. You might be able to see just looking at the blade. But yeah, it's got a little bit of a hook at the end there. Walk and talk still feels just like it did before we started. All around, pretty much what I expected, you know. Actually, I don't know, I think it sliced a little bit better than I thought it would. Again, key points. Ergonomically, I wouldn't grab this to break down a shit ton of boxes, but a few, you're going to be absolutely fine. It's going to, you know, glide through that cardboard real easy. Utility cutting, drag cuts, this is going to just destroy everything in its path. The D2 is done real well, holds an edge better than a lot of D2 I've tested. And the design overall is just wicked as hell. Just crazy good. Crazy badass. And this is a factory second, by the way, so it was on sale, and I found the flaw. It's the bone cover is cracked a little bit at the lanyard tube, just barely, not even really a big issue. So another awesome Rosecraft blade traditional. Thanks for watching, folks. Please like the video before you leave. I'd appreciate it. I'll see you soon.